Hi everyone, Wenthony Pontano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it is time for a classic review of this 1999 Fiona Apple album, When the Pawn. I am not saying that entire title. I'm just not. Yes, this is a classic review of the sophomore LP from legendary singer, songwriter, and pianist Fiona Apple. Fiona's career is an interesting one, that is for sure, because it's so consistent, so good, so impactful, succinct, and cut and dry. She's been releasing albums for 30 years now, and in that time, she's only put out 5. Obviously earning her a reputation for being very picky about what she puts out and when. And she also saw success in the music industry pretty early on too. She's not one of these artists that has a well-documented history of toiling in the underground for years and years and years and years to attain commercial success, because when would she have had the time to? Her debut album came out when she was still just a teenager, and she had a few career-defining singles right out of the gate. So you could say Fiona is one of those rarities where an artist arrives to us fully formed almost in a way, because in the time since her first album, her sound has not changed up all that much, and it hasn't really needed to. It's like she completely sidestepped those awkward or developmental phases that we often see artists undergo in the public eye. And that could be due in part to Fiona being raised in an environment that would foster the level of talent she presented at such a young age. She spent many years living in New York City. She was the child of working actors with connections to Broadway. She was classically trained on piano when she was younger too. And just from the sound of the music on her debut, she was clearly a student of and appreciator of not just jazz music and piano pop, but also rock music, as well as cabaret and theater music, an influence that would grow, I think, even stronger on her sophomore album here. And she really upped the ante on the production side of this record too, with multi-instrumentalist, singer-songwriter, and composer John Brion, who I think really helped turn up the heat on the instrumental side of things, which I think needed to happen for this particular batch of songs. Because while Fiona Apple has been nothing if not consistent across her career, if there's one noticeable change on When the Pawn, it's that she is really leaning into her aggression on this LP. Her fury, her bitterness, the well-documented obsessive compulsions that paint a lot more of her lyrics this time around. Take the vocals on the opening track, On the Bound, for example, which go from these smoky and sinister lows to fiery calls of You're All I Need that almost shake with rage, and hit some impressive descending runs too. And I couldn't imagine this song being pulled off with any other backbone other than these pounding drums, some of these sour string hits, and bassy piano notes that hit with such a heavy punch. There's a jazz appeal to it, there's a singer-songwriter piano tune appeal to it, sure, but with the way Fiona performs and with the way this track and many tracks on this record are produced, it hits with the force of a rock song. And it's with that simple but effective approach that the rest of this record plays out, with a variety of well-written tracks. To Your Love, for example, applies great songwriting and production to this torturous tension, persistent piano chords, more crisp, booming drums, and some sultry horns on the hook. Then there's Fiona's poetry on the track, which dives into her pain, her shame, and how that makes her resistant to another person's love or advances. And she's so fatalistic about it too in her writing at the time, really surrendering to these toxic tendencies like in these lyrics here. Her performance on this track and many others just brings this incredible level of precision and also expression. Following this is the track Limp, which was a pretty key single from the album and peak piano rock for the 90s to me. I love the momentum the track picks up on the chorus, the speedy piano chords. Emotionally, Fiona brings the kind of angst that fueled many a 90s hit at the time, but she has such an incredible command of it that it really transcends the trend, especially as she starts singing, and when I think of it, my fingers turn to fists, so call me crazy, hold me down, make me cry, get off now, baby. Like, it is such a slick execution for a lot of rage. And the cherry on top is letting the drummer get super funky in the second half. This record is truly an emotional roller coaster as we go from total indifference toward a love that Fiona is pretty much tired of humoring on the string-kissed Love Ridden, to an infatuation she likens to starvation on the following Paper Bag, which might just be one of my favorite Fiona Apple songs ever, where we get these almost vaudeville piano chords and brass that soundtrack lyricism that is snappy but also brutally dismal. Hunger hurts but starving works when it costs too much to love. Plus the way Fiona sings on this track, the way she emphasizes certain words, it comes across so organic, so in real time, so conversational. She makes you feel every line, especially during one point of the song where she's kind of reenacting a conversation. Fiona further expands the emotional range of this record with the kind of sinister A Mistake, where she sings about wanting to make a mistake on purpose and not have to worry about the consequences or maybe how it might impact others. It's not my favorite tune on the record, but you can't deny she sells it just as hard as any other track here. Meanwhile, As Fast As You Can delivers on its title by delivering a song with a very intense pace. Really the rager of the record in my view, which also comes with a warning: run away. A recommendation that is emphasized with these frantic piano chords, drums chugging along like a runaway train, and some fiery organ too. And I love the various shifts across the track, instrumentally as well. The driving kicks on the chorus, the whimsical time signature change on the bridge. Again, so much good playing, so much talent, so much passion, so much fire fueling this record without any crazy frills or window dressing or bells and whistles to help it along or sell it. And that's a rare quality in today's music industry, especially for a new artist in the social media age. The Way Things Are is another moment where Fiona is getting quite fatalistic about her perceived unlovability, saying she wouldn't know what to do with another chance, that she couldn't take the embrace of a real romance. But for such a prickly song, it actually has a very beautiful and sweet, relatable chorus. The additional wailing guitar bits, woo, on the hook make it fiercely catchy, which could also be said of the following Get Gone, very bluntly a get the fuck out of my life anthem. On the vocal side, Fiona continues to bring the influence of some classic jazz singers very clearly, but simultaneously she can really transmit that rage when she needs to, saying nothing to figure out, I gotta get him out, it's time the truth goes out, that he don't give a shit about me. Girl, same. Then we have the amazing closer on this record, which is a dejected ballad that, in a way, almost brings Lou Reed Perfect Day vibes. But it's a much more despondent story of betrayal, really two betrayals in a way. One of infidelity, and Fiona knowing it and being fully aware of it, but also not wanting to talk about it or engage with it, and instead just kind of waiting for this other person to bring it up. But he's not doing that, which is forcing her into a position where she's having to live with it as if it's not real. And she ingeniously likens this whole process to that of a theater production. And that, in a nutshell, is one of the punchiest and most explosive singer-songwriter records of all time. A record that is just bursting at the seams with a range of earth-shattering emotions. So much, in fact, it's impressive Fiona is able to have the composure she does to showcase the musical talent that she has. Because the obsession, the depression, the loneliness, the loathing, it is just so much to take in. And those are my thoughts on this excellent, excellent record. What are yours? Let me know in the comments. I'm sure you will. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Fiona Apple, When the Pawn, forever.